The history of Puerto Rico starts off with many groups that lived there, and on August of 2012, the number of Puerto Ricans on the U.S. mainland reached a record of 4.9 million. People of Puerto Rico represent a cultural and racial mix. One of the tribes is only the few remaining due to industrialization and migration, which forced them out or their own choice to stay there. Slaves from Africa were imported, such as from Sudan, the Congo, and the gold ivory. Con- Contributions to the U.S. made by Puerto Rico have been that thousands of Puerto Ricans who fought for the U.S. in conflicts since World War One. Also, taxes of Puerto Ricans paying to the U.S. federal government. And there's people such as Joseph Michael, and he was the first astronaut from there.
Okay, so Puerto Rico is a beautiful island that was occupied by the Ortoroid people as well as other Indians, different tribes like the Saladoid and the Iraq Indians. And this was between the 420 CE until Christopher Columbus came in, and you can already imagine what he did. He wanted to take their land because Puerto Rico is very rich in natural resources and also good for plantations. That means that their soil is very fertile since they're like in the middle of the ocean, literally. And well, Christopher Columbus promised the Queen to bring back gold and all this currency, and well, he thought Puerto Rico will be great for that. And then in 1898, under the Treaty of Paris, Puerto Rico is ceded by the Spanish to the U.S. at the end of the Spanish-American War. And the problem with that is that the U.S. declared war on Spain due to the sinking of a battleship in the Havana harbor, and the Treaty of Paris could call for independent states. As well as in 1493, Voyager Christopher Columbus, like I said, claimed Puerto Rico. And also, like I said, because it is very rich on its natural resources and for plantations. And at that time, Puerto Rico was called Borinquer, which is kind of like why they're always like Boricua, Boricua, and all that. And then in 1917, the Jones Act granted Puerto Ricans their U.S. citizenship, which, if you didn't know, Puerto Rico is U.S. territory. And also with that, in 1917, about the Jones Act, Americans forced out the Spanish from this Caribbean island because they were causing a lot of problems. They kept on wanting wars to see who kept the island, if it was going to be like, of course, the Puerto Ricans or the Indians, like the Awarak, or it was going to be the Spanish.